What are you doing?
I'm spinning really fast. I figured I'll either turn back time or turn into Wonder Woman. Either one would be good, don't you think?
Yes. I'm probably getting nauseous.
That's way more difficult than I thought. And I have to do it while recording. She's beauty and she's grace. All right, guys.
Hello. We're here apparently.
We're here. I'm gonna take this off because I think it's cutting off circulation to my brain. Anyways, we just got done watching Justice League.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell by the tiara, also who my favorite DC superhero is.
Cyborg.
That's right. That's right.
Done it again, folks.
And we are going to do a fast and crappy review, of course, in my favorite form, a pros and cons list. Are you okay?
I hiccuped. I'm sorry.
Is this movie make you gassy?
There's a hiccup.
Anyways, for those of you who have been watching any of my reviews, the whole 5 of you, you'll know that we kind of had a snafu with YouTube, so we're not going to have any of the cute transitions or anything. We're just going to go. We're going to run for it.
See.
Are you ready?
Pros.
Pros.
Let's see here. Oh man, it came out. And,
No.
okay.
Don't give him that kind of negative opinion to start, okay? This is actually not a bad movie.
I'm very surprised that it's this good. Is that a good pro?
It is a good pro.
Okay, if you don't know a whole lot about the story of how Justice League happened, like Zack Snyder had some family issues, and so then Joss Whedon had to come and take over. So for me, I'm just impressed that it's good
as
at all.
cohesive.
Yeah, cohesive at all.
Okay, so here's the thing. There are definitely elements of every single, directorial input. So there are, especially the beginning, it's very Nolan. And Nolan is given credit in this movie. And you feel that a lot. There is definitely some Schneider, and I feel bad that Zack Schneider had some family things go on, but I don't particularly care for his style of really anything. I'm not a big fan of him. So you can tell the parts that are his, and then you can tell the parts that are Whedon, I feel like, too. And I'll tell you why, because I laughed in this movie. And I didn't really laugh in Batman versus Superman.
Nope, not once. Okay, so pros. Whenever they introduce in the beginning, when they introduce the different superheroes, I was very pleased for the first little bit. And then, Batman shows up, and he's he's Batmaning about, and it's this is so cool. I can't wait for the next Batman movie, because it's just to see Batman do his thing where he's just on a dark rooftop beating some baddos up.
It was a lot more traditional.
It was very good. And then, things started, we have to explain the story now. I'm ugh.
Ugh.
Oh, man. It was so good when Batman was just doing cool stuff.
Whenever Batman was just Batmaning around.
I'm a Marvel guy, for sure. I'm a Marvel fanboy. And then I saw Batman, I was like, yay, it's Batman.
Doing the traditional Batman was really nice. And I think that to me felt I feel like was very Snyder.
I feel like also a lot of the characters in the movie, I'm going to say this, Dragon Ball Z style, their power levels were correct. Their power sets were at the right level throughout the movie.
Altogether, one of the things that happened in this movie that did not happen in Batman versus Superman, and they started kind of doing in Wonder Woman, is they started making characters the way that you think the characters should be. Batman is dark and brooding. He is questioning himself. He is realizing that he is human, and that really his only superpower is that he is really rich. Wonder Woman is fighting with her leadership, fighting with her past and her kind of fish out of water sense. Aquaman is trying to figure out if Aquaman's cool or not. I mean, he is now, but he used not to be.
That is his whole thing in the movie.
Cyborg is coming to terms with what he is and the issues that he has with his family. And Superman is realizing that he is hope, and that if he doesn't step up, then there's no point for him existing.
Yeah, so in that way that Joss Whedon did a very good job in Avengers, letting you know all the character beats as the story was going on. This is a movie about, it's not all there, but it is a movie about characters and how they're interacting. And there's a lot of really cool character interactions, especially between Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Oh, and I'm sorry, Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Cyborg and Barry Allen Flash and Batman. It was very cool. I was like, oh yeah, this
And
was so cool to see.
I really kind of liked the way they handled Flash. I'm not a fan of Flash, but they did a great job with him being like this very kind of like young and dumb and figuring out what his powers are and what they're good for. And his story in general, I felt that they did a very decent job on, especially since we know Flash. We've seen him in other series and things. So putting him in this movie the way that they did, I actually think they did a very, very good job.
Yep.
Another pro, I like Danny Elfman. I do. I like his musical stylings. I think he did a pretty decent job. I wish I had heard more of the Superman and Wonder Woman theme throughout, but I definitely caught on to the Batman theme whenever it came up. Altogether, I thought the score was actually really, really decent. And if you know me, again, the 5 of you who watch my stuff, Marvel has always really nailed it for me for the sound design. And this time, DC really tried to up the ante. They really tried to nail it. They still don't quite have the sound effects themselves down, but the overall score is much better.
Another pro is, like, in the trailers, they have a lot of, like, the action scenes, but there's a big reveal in the movie that they don't ever spoil in any of the trailers. And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. Hey, they did a good job there.
They actually did a
I'm
decent
really excited.
job.
I'm very happy that I was happy that I was watching this movie. And I was like, I was kind of dreading it today. I was
We
like,
were
oh,
both
no.
dreading it.
I was remembering Batman versus Superman, and I was like, oh, that was cool. They did a good job of like bringing back, like, oh yeah, remember this thing from before? Well, we're gonna take that and like now we're just gonna, we're gonna do it now. And it's gonna be good. Okay,
It's
not gonna
sense.
be bad. It's gonna be good. Okay, it's gonna make story cohesion, and it's gonna be good. Okay, guys, trust us. We got this one. Finally.
The other thing that I'm gonna say is a pro is they toned down all the stupid red and green lightning BS.
You mean
all
blue lightning?
No, it was all the
Blue
red.
lightning smoke monster.
It was all the red, and then it was all the blue, and then it was, instead of doing this like tonal thing, they actually made you like care about your scenery a little bit. Now, I think that this movie in general, like, because it has the same problem that all superhero team-up movies have, which is you're putting a lot of people on screen and you're trying to give them all the correct time and all the correct place.
Pros.
I know. But they did a pretty decent job of it because they made sure that it all flowed. There were visual cues and there were visual stylings to show that you were in different areas, but it wasn't jarring. Not like in Batman vs. Superman. I mean, there were times where I felt sick that it was just pam, 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 and it was no good. What other pros do we have? Yeah, that good?
I don't know. I feel like that was it. Like, it was, like, I enjoyed it while
actually
my butt
a
was
good
in the
movie.
seat. I was like, hey, this is fun.
It didn't offend me like Batman vs. Superman did.
Batman was just like the actual, like, why? I want to flip tables because I'm so mad. Like, this is such a
good movie in comparison.
Betrayal to who the characters are. But I feel like in this movie, the characters are correct. More or less.
They've
kind of fixed them. They're like, oh, that was not so good. Let's backpedal here and let's try to maybe change these characters how they should be, and that's where the character development is coming. They've used the beautiful medium of storytelling to develop the people in their movies. I'm like, okay, I'll give you that. That was good.
The last pro that I'm gonna list is there is a post-credit scene, so be sure to stay all the way through.
I know, right? And there's like a reverse Avengers post-credit scene.
Shush! Don't spoil it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Justice League. I'm sorry.
Okay, listen, there's a post-credit scene, okay? Just go watch it.
It was
good.
good.
If you see the movie, just stay till the end. There you go. All right, cons. The CGI sucks.
Henry Cavill's upper lip is weird.
Because of the stupid mustache thing, there's like this whole thing where they had to cover it up with CGI because apparently he had a mustache. But of course, Superman doesn't have a mustache, even though there's this whole debate about how Superman shaves, actually, but that's not the point. The whole thing is that they CGI his lip. So he does things like, whenever I smile, you see how I smile? He smiles like this. and he like opens his top lip too high and it doesn't look like him. Sometimes his top lip and his bottom lip don't match up. Like, it just hits the uncanny valley. And the very first scene in, like, where you see Superman, which is supposed to be like a video recording, I felt like they did like a very Spider-Man vlog-esque thing right there. The first time. He doesn't even look like him. It looks off. You can tell.
It's a little bit rough.
And the problem is that the only time that was done was during reshoots, because he only had the mustache during reshoots, which means there are times where he's totally normal, and there's times where he's not, and sometimes it's scene to scene, and it's not great.
No, it's a little rough.
Ooh, it's a little rough.
Also, Henry Cavill's, okay, being a dirty, filthy capitalist American, especially from the South, like, I know what a Southern accent sounds like.
He doesn't know what a Southern accent sounds like. He can't do it. He can't figure it out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Which makes the rubber lip even more difficult whenever they're trying to get his mouth to do the accent. It's
because I know he's like supposed to have like this Southern charm and like country boy feel, but it's like, hide me forever. I don't ever want to come out.
Speaking of not knowing where you're from, there is a nowhere town from an undisclosed foreign country.
It's Russia. They do say Russia.
They say, yeah, but do they? I mean, they say Russia.
They do say the name
But
Russia.
the problem is the musical cues don't match.
It's true. It's like a little bit polka.
It's like a little bit polka. Sometimes it's a little Italian. Sometimes it's Russian. They speak Russian sometimes.
One of the people has the name Yuri, which is a very Russian name.
And that's it. And then, of course, they speak English because it's a movie. I did hear this theory once, though, that if you are speaking English but with an accent, like a foreign accent, it's just a cue to show that they're actually speaking in their native tongue, which I think is a really interesting theory. Sorry, I digress. But the musical cues don't match, ever. Like, I'm gonna put this on Danny Elfman again. Again, I really like his style. What? Like, if this is supposed to tell me if I'm supposed to feel a certain way for these people who are probably supposed to represent some sort of refugee thing, you kind of miss the mark, because I have no idea what and where and who and how.
And you wouldn't notice unless there was like a slightly ethnic. So it's like slightly ethnic, kind of Volturian sounding folk songs. It's
yeah.
Like, what's happening here?
Like, if you could say,
are you trying to say something? Are you trying to do something? I can't tell.
But it's very specific. Like, there are, and we're a little bit of music nerds, so bear with us. Like, but we notice things like that. Like, that was one of my pet peeves with the movie Frozen, actually, is that the music didn't fit the time period that supposedly Frozen was in. This even more so, not because it has a time period, but because it's obvious. It actually, like, threw me. Like, I said something about it to Tony in the theater. Other things that were off.
The bad guy's face was difficult to view.
The bad guy's face doesn't look great.
Stepping on wolves. Step on up wolves.
Also, there are things that don't quite make sense. Like, suddenly people have obtained clothing that they couldn't have obtained, and we have no idea where it came from.
It's just little stuff, and it takes you right out of the movie.
But the thing is,
what happened?
It's little stuff, but it's so much little stuff, and it takes you out of the movie, and it does a discredit to the film overall. And I think those little things are where you see that the different directors had different ideas of how a scene would go, and so whenever they filmed it, that's where you actually get the disconnect. The other thing is, okay, comic book science is weird, okay? It's all pseudoscience, it's all science fiction.
Here it comes.
But science doesn't work like that.
Science doesn't work like that.
Science doesn't work like that.
Science doesn't work like that sometimes.
So
it's like if you take like a magical thing that no one knows about and like science it, it's fine. Yeah, it'll work. Okay, I'll give you that.
We'll give you that.
Okay, it's a fantasy movie. We're thinking.
If your
but, like,
vehicle has
rocket thrusters only work in certain ways.
If your vehicle has like a certain max thrust,
you can only achieve enough. You can only achieve enough propulsion through a rocket propelled anything because of how much oxygen it's receiving. You can't modify that. Okay, that's impossible.
And you can, you can modify it if you like rebuild it.
Yes.
Or if you change things. There's some combustion things there and fuel things there, but you can't just like.
Not on the fly.
You
Not
can't
like,
do it on the fly, and you
this.
can't just like pet. You can't pet the airplane and it likes you and it goes faster. Oh, you're such a good little aircraft.
Science doesn't work like that. Okay,
Science doesn't work like that.
This is just for if you've seen the movie, apparently, because this is
you'll
just a
see
scene
it.
where it's just like, oh my gosh.
There's a scene, and
science doesn't work like
well,
that.
that's not
everybody.
the only scene. There's a few scenes where you're just like, science doesn't work like that.
You can't just like believe enough and then machines work better.
I'm going to give a lot of faith to, especially a lot of faith.
Oh, okay.
A lot of faith to the way that they handle Flash, because I'm not a big Flash fan. I can't really say everything about that, but I will not give a lot of grace or faith or anything to some of the crap that they had Cyborg do, because it's nonsense. Which brings me to my next con, and you might want to cover your ears because I'm about to yell. You ready? They gave Cyborg the ability to fly before Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has been a hero, has been of the gods for centuries. Okay? But we're gonna give some dude who just discovered just gained his powers a week ago, freaking thrusters that don't work the way that science works? Are you kidding me? What an injustice. How freaking rude. How are you still incapable of having Wonder Woman do anything that Wonder Woman does? Why? Because she would be like super powerful? Yeah, that's kind of the point. I yelled so loud. I could not believe that they gave Cyborg the ability to fly before Wonder Woman. Now, I understand that if you have everybody and their mom able to fly, that's a difficult thing. I get it. I do. But if we're going to talk about the grand scheme of like who is going to like make the company money or anything else, I cannot believe that they keep ditching on Wonder Woman like that. Like it's mind-blowing to me. It's particularly frustrating because also Wonder Woman's my favorite. And I really like Gal Gadot, and I think that she does a great job.
She's great.
She is lovely.
And her her lasso of exposition.
Her lasso of, that's true. It's just amazing.
All right, let's do this last good stuff. Unless you have another con, I got nothing.
I mean, I think we've gone over enough cons. That's actually pretty equal, which is saying a lot for a DC movie.
You remember our Batman vs Superman review? It was. I was like, it's fine.
I almost cried during it.
You did.
I did. All right, so now we're gonna do the quick questions. You ready?
Got it.
Okay. Origin story, yes or no?
No. No.
But they're trying at least a little bit more than they have previously, so that's something. Music and score, yes or no?
I'm gonna say.
Halvesies.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50-50.
Halvesies. The musical score's there whenever it's there. It's not when it's not.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes there's a part where it's a very music video-ish. It's like, this is not necessary.
It's more AMV-ish for sure, like a fight scene with the music, yeah.
I understand, like, people are sad or whatever. We don't need music. I mean, you're opening the movie, and I get it. So, like, let's go. I don't need to see this music video before the movie starts.
Alfred Sass, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, that shade. Ooh, that shade. He's so good at it. That's excellent. Love story, yes or no?
I'm going to say yeah. Yeah, why not? Well, sure.
It's fine. It's there. It exists. We
There
can't
isn't,
get away with
They
it.
don't try to shoehorn in an extra kind of love story. They feel like they might, but they don't push it.
They might, but they don't push it, and it's
nice.
fine. It's fine. Do the pros outweigh the cons? Oh my gosh, do the pros outweigh the cons?
You know, I feel strange because the last one was so bad that I just want to say yes because it was definitely.
Because this one's actually worth watching.
Yeah, yeah, this is actually worth watching.
And honestly,
so I'm like if you go from a garbage fire to not a garbage fire, like okay, I can watch this.
Such a vast improvement.
I could sit by this and not gag.
It's almost not even fair to compare them. It's not apples to apples. Now, I will say comparing this to Wonder Woman, I like the story of Wonder Woman better. I hate the ending of Wonder Woman. This ending, wow, very pushing up daisies-esque. And if you ever watch a show, you know that means that they just wrap it up in a cute little narrative because they didn't have time to actually finish it. It's still better than the Wonder Woman ending.
Mm-hmm. I believe.
Good enough. Do the pros outweigh the cons enough to see in theaters?
I would say yes. If you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna see it, go see it on a cheapo night.
Cheapo night.
Whatever. It's good.
And that's, of course, the next question. Worth seeing more than once?
I mean, if you got free time, go for it.
If you got free time, go for it. The problem that I have with DC movies in particular, I feel like I have to watch them at home because I need to be able to pause and see things. Marvel's a lot more obvious with their Easter eggs and other things. DC tends to have them a little bit more hidden, and I think a lot of that actually has to do with the aesthetic of the DC universe. It's a little more difficult to see and hear things. So I guess go see it.
Yeah.
That's the beginning and end of it.
Or don't.
Or don't, or whatever. Anyways, so that is our fast and crappy review of Justice League.
Long and crappy.
Oh, no, 20 minutes is not bad. Okay, anyways. So definitely go see it, especially if you're a DC fan. If you're a Wonder Woman fan, she does excellent. The Flash is great. Cyborg wasn't terrible. Aquaman is very pretty, though underexplored. So I really do want him to have his own movie and it actually be like a thing. I know, but I want his like movie to actually be good and like a thing.
Okay.
And honestly, it's kind of, I feel like almost DC did it on purpose. Like they gave us a bunch of really crap movies so they could make mediocre ones and we'd be happy for it.
No.
No, you don't think so?
No. No one does that. They're picking up the pieces. That's what I think.
They're picking up the pieces. They're doing an okay job.
Yeah.
I was not disappointed, and that for me means a lot.
Yeah, man, they delivered a movie that is watchable and good. What more do you want?
Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely leave some comments below about maybe something that you think we need to...
Or leave some comments.
You know
comics
what?
are good too. I would love to read some comics.
Below.
I like comics.
And I'm so tired. Why do you have to be this way? Anyways, leave stuff in the section that you say things at us at. I would love to hear your opinion of it. We are going to be doing more reviews at some point. I'm not really sure what other movies we're watching until the end of the year.
Winding down. We don't really care for Star Wars.
It's not that we don't care for Star Wars. We like Star Wars, but it's at
hard.
Christmas, and we just aren't willing to fight that crowd is really what it comes down to. Oh, wait. Total extra right now. We saw the trailer for Rampage.
That was a good trailer.
And I can't
I was
believe
surprised.
I can't believe how sucked in we got to it. And then we both, Tony realized first that it was Rampage. And I said, you know what? We're going to go see it, A, because nothing's sacred, and B, because it has, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And we'll watch just about anything.
Well, I kind of checked out halfway through because it was from the director of San Andreas. I was like, okay.
We're like, oh no. Anyways, guys, have a good evening, and we will see you on the next time we have something to say. Bye.